Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Otutu and I create content here on YouTube. If this is your first time seeing this beautiful face, please do not make it the last by clicking on the subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy watching it. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to find apartments in Berlin and everything you need to know about Berlin apartments. I currently live in Berlin, Germany, and I felt this video would benefit a lot of people, especially people who are looking to relocate to Germany. So everything I'm going to be talking about in this video, the focal point is Berlin. The location is Berlin. I don't know if it also would, be the same for every other city in Germany or even Europe as a whole, but then I wrote down some points that I think are very important that you should know about. So if you see me looking on my phone, just know that I'm trying to get some points so I do not forget them. They're actually a lot and I feel you need to know them. So the first one would be, if you're someone that maybe you're coming from a country, you're relocating to Berlin and you're looking for an apartment, I think one of the first things you should do is to consider what kind of apartments are you looking for. Are you looking to stay in an Airbnb, or are you looking to stay in furnished apartments or unfurnished apartments? So in Berlin we have different kinds. We have Airbnb, we have hotels, which I really do not recommend, especially if you're relocating, because that can be a little bit expensive. Then we have furnished apartments. So furnished apartments are the kind of apartments where everything is in the house. All you just need to do is to move in with your clothes and maybe your footwears, and that is it. Everything, but everything down to the spoon, the towels you will use to clean your body will already be in the house. And then we also have unfurnished apartments. And when it comes to unfurnished apartments, we also have two kinds of unfurnished apartments. We have apartments that come with kitchen, so you can say, oh, I'm looking for an apartment with a kitchen, or an apartment that doesn't come with a kitchen. Well, I will get down to all of this later. So I would advise you, if you're someone that is relocating newly and you know nothing about Berlin, is either you go through an Airbnb or look for a temporarily furnished apartment. Why this is necessary is because, firstly, you do not know where you're coming to. You probably do not know how to speak German. So it is easier for you to get somewhere that is furnished, so you do not have to start looking for malls where to get properties. It's like everything is there for you. But then the duration of that temporary apartment is also very important to note. So I will use myself and my friends for example. So we relocated in 2020 October, and then before we came, we looked for apartments online. So there are actually some very popular websites that you can use to search for apartments. If you want to make use of Airbnb, you can always go to Airbnb and then search for apartments in Berlin that you can then tell them the duration you want to stay. So we have the likes of Wunderflat, which is a website. I'm going to leave it on the screen. We have the likes of Smart Home. We also have Home Like. There are actually lots of them, but these three are like the very, very popular ones that a lot of people use when they are looking for apartments in Berlin. For myself, I know we used Wunderflat. So how this works most times is, on that Wunderflat, on the website, which is also similar to Home Like and Spot a Home, they would ask you how long do you want to stay. There are some apartments that have minimum stay. Maybe the minimum you can stay is 2 months, 3 months, while there are some apartments that also have maximum stay. Maybe like you can't stay more than 6 months in that apartment, which is totally fine. If you're someone that you're relocating alone, I would advise you get 3 to 6 months of stay. Why this is important is because, one, you do not know what the location looks like. If you're someone that is relocating for job, your office might be maybe a little bit far from where the apartment you're getting. Another thing might be that you might not even like the location. Maybe you are someone that prefers a quiet place and you then get a house that is in a noisy area. Imagine getting a place for that long, maybe 1 year. You're going to have to stay there for 1 year, and 1 year is actually a long time. So I would always advise you to go for 3 to 4, 5 or 6 months, so that even if you don't like the apartment, you know that you can always leave. The second reason would be that it will help you even check out which location do you eventually want to settle. So if you're someone that wants to maybe go inside or want to stay at the heart of Berlin, this will also, at least you will take out time to learn the area. You will take out time to learn what do you want to be close to you. Do you want your office to be close by, your gym, the malls? So you also have to, take time to study these things when you come. When you're someone that maybe you moved to work, here in Berlin or Germany as a whole, they love paperwork a lot. So there is something called apartment registration. When you use an Airbnb, you won't have that. They call it Wohnungsbestätigung. Wohnungsbestätigung is a German word, right? So when you get an Airbnb apartment, you're most likely not going to have that, which means that your mails, you won't have where to get mails. But if you're looking for a temporary apartment, on the website you would see whether or not your landlord would give you that Wohnungsbestätigung.
Wohnungsgeberbestätigung. Landlord confirmation.
I know I'm pronouncing it wrongly. Germans, please do not come for me. I'm going to leave it on the screen. But if you're looking for a temporary apartment on the website, let's say for example Wunderflat, you're going to see exactly if the landlord would give this to you. So if the landlord would give it to you, I would advise you to go for properties like that, because you would be able to go and register the apartment, and then your mails and everything can be in your mailbox. And then also note that when you're registering your apartment, I think you're supposed to do that within the first 2 weeks of you coming. So in Germany we do a lot of online booking, so you can't just go to an office because you want to register. You have to book an appointment. So when you come, you go, or you quickly search and book appointment for you to register your apartment. Now that we have finished talking about the kind of apartment you want to get, I would also want you to know that in Berlin we pay house rents monthly. Yeah, so if you're someone that is coming from a place like I am a Nigerian, and back home we pay yearly. So coming here and knowing that we pay monthly was a bit different for me. So if you have to find apartments, always note that the apartments, you pay for them every month. You have a monthly payment of the apartment. Now this brings me to the next one, which is your documents. So most times whenever you want to look for a property here, especially if you're a foreigner, so because they do not know you, they would always require for documents. And the very popular documents they always require, they want to know your pay slips. Let's say for example, if you're not a student, I really do not know much about students, like how students live here, but I'm going to make that inquiry. I'll probably bring someone on the channel to tell you more about student life here in Germany. But then they would want to know, first of all, if you have a contract letter or an employment letter, right? They would also want to know how much you're earning. This would determine whether or not they can rent the apartment to you. And in Germany, there is this law that if your house rent is more than 1/3 of your salary, they won't rent that apartment to you. So they'll have to check if your salary matches and you will be able to afford this particular rent. And then if you're looking for apartments in Berlin, it can be a bit expensive, especially the temporary apartments. It can be a little bit pricey, so always try to be sure that whatever apartment you're getting is something that you can afford every month. Now this brings me to the next one, which is security deposit. See, in Nigeria, our security deposit used to be very cheap, but here in Berlin, there's something they call it. The security deposit is like the money you deposit is mostly maybe 2 months of your rent. Yeah, it's mostly 2 months of your rent. So you have to pay the landlord 2 months of your house rent. Let's say for example, maybe the house you're getting is 500 euros or 1000 euros. You're most likely going to deposit 2000 euros as your security deposit. But do not be afraid, but like whenever you're leaving the apartment, and the apartment you're living, you kept it exactly how you found it, then your security deposit will be given to you within the first 6 months of you leaving the apartment. The maximum the house owner can hold your security deposit is 6 months. After 6 months, you can get a lawyer to be involved and all of that. So always have at the back of your mind when you're relocating that you need to have your security deposit, which is almost most cases 2 times the original house rent. And then when you're moving into an apartment in Berlin, I beg you, especially when it is furnished apartment, Please do not change any single thing. Whatever you see, however it is, leave it like that when you're moving out. Do not repaint, because if you repaint when you're leaving, you have to paint back to the exact color paint that they used. If there was a mattress and you removed it, you have to put it back the exact way you found that apartment, because you're going to sign a contract. They will list every single thing that they gave you. So if during the day you're doing your handover, like you want to move out of the apartment, then they have to go through the list. If anything is missing, it will be taken from your security deposit. Now you see the importance of security deposits. Now this brings us to the next one, which is your rent. So now back to the rent again. So in Berlin, we also have what we call the cold rent and the warm rent, right? So cold rent is, let's say for example, you're looking for this is mostly for unfurnished apartments, because for furnished apartments, everything is usually included: your light bill, internet, heating, water, everything. That's the utilities, everything is covered in the rent. But if you're going for unfurnished apartment, always know that you can either get a warm or cold rent apartment. So if you're getting a cold rent, it just simply means that you're going to be the one to take care of all your utilities, all your utility bills. Let's say for example, heating, lighting, water, internet, and all of that. Then for warm rent, most times it usually covers everything, maybe the heating, the water, and the lighting. But like this one that we got, what we are the heating and the lighting and the water, everything is in the rent. So the only thing we pay separately is our internet. Okay, sorry, exclude light. So we're paying for light and internet separately, but every other thing is included in the rent. So I also need you to know, when you're looking for unfurnished apartments, always check if it's warm rent or cold rent. Is really, really, really important that you know. And then another thing we also need to know in Berlin is noise. If you're someone that loves to party a lot, you would really need to consider getting maybe an apartment in a very noisy area, because these people really, really, really like their privacy and quietness and everything. So here in Berlin, most times the apartments, they usually have rules. I know that I think for my own apartment, after 9 p.m. you're not supposed to have parties. If you're doing that, because our doors are soundproofed, you have to close all your windows so that there is no noise. If not, they can call security for you. So whenever you're moving to your apartment, always try to check out the rules and the regulation. On Sundays, I know that on Sundays they do not allow partying. Like Sundays are like holy grail. Like if you throw a pin on the floor, you're supposed to hear it. On Sundays, there are some places on Sundays you're not even allowed to wash. Like the washing machine noise, drilling, you're not allowed to do all those things. Why? Because Sundays are like very quiet. I can remember one of my friends, Raji's birthday last year. We threw a surprise birthday for her. So we're at our friend's house, and we're like, I think around 8. It wasn't even up to 10 minutes. The neighbor came up and knocked on the door that see, this is not allowed. He's going to report my friend. She's going to report my friend, because Sundays you're not supposed to make noise and all of that. That why would she have more than 5 people in the house? So you need to know all these things. Like you need to know. So and then another thing too is join WhatsApp group. So if you're in an apartment that has a WhatsApp group, try to join, just because you have updated information. Especially for people like me that don't know how to speak German, most times when they send a message, they try to translate it there as well. Like we have a WhatsApp group for my building, because it also, you will get informations like, oh, the water is going to be out, or oh, the hot water is not going to be available for so period, or they are coming to fix this or that. Or maybe if you even have issues that you're struggling with, people that have been in that building would help you navigate a lot of things. I can remember when we moved in newly. Right? In this building, we didn't know that because we moved into an unfurnished apartment, so we started buying properties. The cartons, when we finished unboxing a lot of things, we kept the carton close to the waste bin where cartons are supposed to be placed, but we kept it outside, without knowing that if the people that take out trash takes out that carton themselves, they're going to charge the whole building. So it was a neighbor that had to tell us this. So what we had to do, we started piecing visiting these cartons and shoving them inside the waste bin. So this is another thing too. When you move into an apartment, you're going to have in your building, you're going to have where you throw away bins. And then I need you to know that they do not joke with separating items. So let's say, for example, food items are not going to be in the same waste bin as maybe ceramics that are broken or as papers. So they usually have maybe one for paper, one for things that's from the kitchen, one for nylons, one for maybe broken glasses and all of that. They do not joke with waste bin and separating your debts. Then you can get to a point where if they notice that you don't do that, they can actually charge you. So if you're someone that you do not know that, when you come here in Berlin, you need to know in your apartment that you would always have separated bins where what and what is supposed to be. This also brings me to another one that I think you need to really know about, is having a lawyer or knowing someone that knows a lawyer, because sometimes these landlords can be moving crazy. So you can get an apartment where your landlord, maybe your landlord lives or the landlady lives in the same compound, and any little thing the person is stressing you. I can remember our former house, we went through a lot. I can't remember, we went through a lot with our landlord, guys. Like, he was a racist, he was very mean. We wanted to leave the apartment. Baba said we're not going anywhere. We kept on begging this man, arguing back and forth. It was until we got a lawyer involved, immediately the man said it's okay that we can leave. Like, honestly. And another friend that also went through this guy, he had a visitor, one of our friends that came from Nigeria, because he hadn't gotten his apartment yet because he was not vaccinated. I think it's a new thing now, like when you get to Germany, for you to be able to get access to an apartment, you need to have taken your vaccines, even the booster shot. So he was trying to squat with one of our friends. The landlady saw the day he moved. The landlady started charging him 100 euros per night without the guy knowing, and the landlady didn't even ask. So it was until a lawyer came in. Like, these people can be moving mad. So I also need you to know, like, the lawyer, you mustn't maybe necessarily get it, but at least have an idea of where you can get one in case things go left. So I think this is basically most of the things. And another thing I wanted to also let you know is the heating system. We have different kinds of heating systems. So if you're someone that maybe, I don't know, so like currently we have floor heating, and then we also have the heating where you would see the heater right in front, like in your maybe room or kitchen or all of that. I'll show you the difference. So our own is floor heating, so there's nothing, just your floor gets warm, you put it on. You really need you really need your heating system, because 70% of the time in Berlin is cold. So I think I have probably covered almost everything. So I just really wish you well when you're finding apartments here in Berlin. I need you to, also make your own research. Is it a place where, thugs are living? Is it very noisy? You can see most of them in the description. If you're very unsure, you can just rent an Airbnb. When you come, then you find, a temporary apartment before. Maybe if you don't have the money, you can then save up for unfurnished apartments. So that is basically all the experiences and everything, the knowledge I have when it comes to apartments. I don't know, and I hope I'm not missing any other thing. So yeah, I think maybe the last one would be change of name on the mailbox. So most times, just like how I was talking about getting apartments where they can give you registration certificate so you can do your registration, we also have, there are some apartments that won't let you change the name on the box. So the name on the box is your name, where if you have a mail from maybe the government or anywhere, maybe for your social security and all of that, when they come, they would look for the names on the boxes in the building and then find your name. There are some landlords that won't let you change the name on the mailbox. So it's also very good for you to know, if you're searching for these apartments online, always check in the description, like if they would allow change of name, if they're going to give you the registration form and all of that. So I think with this, you should be very okay to find your apartments. I'll leave the websites where you can get furnished and unfurnished apartments, and then that would be it, guys. I think that is it. that is all I have for you today. I hope this video was very useful to you, especially if you're someone that's looking to join me here in Berlin. Do make sure to give me a thumbs up, and also tell me what other videos you want to see on the channel, and I would make sure to create all of that. Thank you so much for spending the evening or the day or the afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.